We are now live. Let's do it. Hello there. I am Alexa Fisher and I am happy to report that we are live. No one's watching yet. That's all good. That is all good. Let's see. I'm getting my... Oh, hey, Danilo. How you doing, my friend? I am working on getting my recording up and running, so bear with me as I get this recorded. Let's see. I'm going to do new movie recording. Ciao. It's so good to have you here. I'm excited. All right, here we go. I'm working on this new thing and I'm actually going to include it in its own lesson, but okay, it looks like we're recording now, which is the ability to record your Periscope, so that you can actually have it as content that you can add to your course, to your online course, or add it to your blog or your YouTube channel. It's kind of a fun, easy way to make content. And by the way, Danilo, this is a message for you. I saw that awesome student announcement that you made, and I love your sense of encouragement that you give to your students. It's totally awesome. So today I want to talk about something that happened to me last night in my karate class. I am a student of Ishinryu Karate, and a very, very funny thing happened when I began. So I had no intention of joining karate, and you're welcome, Danilo. And I watched my sons train with this wonderful sensei, and they were getting an incredible training, not just physically, but mentally, life lessons. I thought it was just incredible. And I really thought that this instructor was amazing. So when it came time for this gentleman, he decided to open up a adult class. My husband and I were like, let's do it. Let's do it. But the thing that got me most excited was a practice that they do called katas. And katas are, if you didn't know anything about karate, they almost look like a dance, a very intense dance, but it's a series of movements that you train and that are they're basically warrior training. And I was really interested in learning the katas, and I was less interested in learning about the fighting because the fighting intimidated me. And I thought, like, that's not me. I don't like to fight. Like, I really don't want to fight. So anyway, before I began, I went up to our sensei. Ooh, fighting with shadows. I like that. But I went up to my sensei and I said, I'm interested in joining the class, but I don't want to fight. So to be a black belt, because you know me, like if I'm going to do it, I really want to be a black belt. So I said, in order to be a black belt, do I have to fight or can I just do the katas? And he said, you can just do the katas. You don't have to fight. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'm totally in with this. So I started, and it was awkward at first, and I didn't know the moves. It was intimidating to do karate. And in this practice, we don't just get a white belt. You actually have to earn your white belt. It's pretty extensive training. So I started doing it. Got my white belt. Then we tested. We got our yellow belt recently, and it was super exciting. And then privately, I kind of took the sensei aside, and I said, I just wanted to check with you. Is it true that I don't have to fight in order to get my black belt? And he said, no, it's not true. And I was like, you told me that was the case. And he said, well, I had to, because if I had told you from the beginning that you had to fight, you probably wouldn't have started. And I was like, that is very valid. And that is totally true. And so I'm sharing this today because last night we did some fighting. And I want to show you that last night I actually got, can you see this? Bloody knuckles. Bloody knuckles, people. Wounded knuckles. Now, the first thing he pointed out was I actually wasn't punching properly, or I wouldn't have had bloody knuckles right there. I should be punching right here. But regardless, why is this important for you maybe today? Because in life, don't touch my Alexa. Yeah, you don't want to mess with me, Danilo, because I'm really going to have a 1-2 that's pretty, not to mention my kick is going to be pretty good. But the truth is, you don't know when in life you are going to want to do something and it's going to be intimidating, and there's going to be parts that you're attracted to and there's going to be parts that scare you. And even though I didn't realize this, It was so apparent in my karate. It was so obvious to me that had I been intimidated by the fighting aspect of being a karate student, I never would have started. But if I look at my business and I think about when I started my business and teaching people online and building a website and building online courses and making content on a regular basis and even talking to you right now, if I really knew all that it was going to entail, maybe I wouldn't have started. And the truth is that if you move in the direction of curiosity and you're open to this idea of like, well, I'm going to figure it out. It's totally doable. I am going to, instead of being overwhelmed, I'm just going to get really curious. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to study a few things. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. It's a complete game changer. Instead of sitting on the sidelines saying, yes, Danilo, one step at a time. That's right. You do that sort of, those sort of measured movements and pace yourself and say like, you know what? There are things that are going to come easy to me. And then there are things that are going to be a little difficult to me. But another thing that my sensei told me is, I am never going to let you test until you're ready. I'm never going to put you in a competition environment, a fighting environment if you choose to, unless you're ready. So don't worry about it. And it was extremely liberating because I was like, okay, let's do this. And if I get some bumps and bruises along the way, so what? What a great story. What a great pat on the back. So yeah, oh, that's so sweet, Danilo. You're the best. Like whenever I feel bad, I'm just going to turn on the recording of this and read your nice comments. But it's true. By me stepping into something that was a little uncomfortable, was a little bit different, then I got to start to just dance in this exchange. Because you never know, you never know whose life you're going to alter just a little bit and have them go on a path. And that's going to help other people that they're going to meet. And that is such a huge driver for me in my business. So when I'm sitting, and yesterday I was working on Facebook Power Editor. And if there's one thing in my business that is my Achilles heel, it is Facebook Power Editor. Woo-wee! It is a little bit confusing, not intuitive, Facebook. Anyway, so, but by me trying to stay calm, trying to stay clear, saying, you know what, this is just another level of black belt. It's another level of training. We have to master it. We have to dance in it. We have to experiment with it. And it's all doable. We can figure this out. And you have to have great people around you also. So thank you to my awesome team who keeps me sane when the things that I don't like to do. You are amazing. Anyway, so I'm going to love you right back. If I could go like love, love, love to you. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to share with that with you today, because it was a great reminder for me anyway in life as I am exploring the things that come a little less naturally to me. So I hope by now you've heard, and if you haven't heard, I am doing some amazing live training next week, comprehensive online training that you must sign up for at alexafisher.com/rockyourvideo, because I believe that video really is an incredible tool on the web. Just look at us right now, Periscope. Not only this that's happening live, but the way that you can repurpose it and really build your business and share your expertise. Yes, you can do this. It's a lot easier than you think, but when you have steps, when you have some insights how to do it, when you break it down, when you get out of the overwhelm, you can really start to step in to the experience and also the opportunity. And that's all we're talking about, right? Because if you sit on the sidelines of life, you're always going to wonder, what if? What if? What if I just pushed play and hit record? What if I just stopped getting in my head and saying, I can't do this. I don't want to do that. That's not me. That's not me. In the same way with karate, where I was like, I am not a fighter. I don't want to fight. I don't want to be hit. I don't want to hit other people. And I can't say it's like my most favorite thing to do, but it was pretty amazing doing some rounds last night, working up a huge sweat, digging a little bit deeper, getting some bloody knuckles. It was kind of amazing and totally therapeutic. So I'm going to box with my Facebook Power Editor. Anyway, but today I wanted to share another little aspect of this video training, and something that I hear all the time. I have the most remarkable privilege of working with people from all over the world, which is just amazing to me. And many of the questions that I get over and over again is about being able to be understood on camera. And also this issue of accents. Now I joke that we're going to do, that I do accents here, like it's like a big party trick. But the thing about accents and about the concept of accents is that sometimes people think, oh, I have an accent, and that's a negative thing. And that's something that they're a little intimidated about or afraid about. They don't feel that they sound good enough. And there's two different issues that I really want to highlight here. And one is the concept that it's not good enough. That fear of, can I be understood? Am I really going to be able to connect with people? You know, this is a fear. And yet, oh, thank you, Xenia, for sharing on Twitter. I just found out that you can actually, I don't know, tap or something on here and share it. So if you're watching, you like what you're seeing, go ahead, please share it. I'm very grateful. So anyway, this one concept where it's not good enough, we need to change that, right? Because if someone's got an accent, I personally love accents. I love them. I love hearing them. I learn about somebody. And so it's wonderful to me. It may be intimidating to you and thinking that you can't be understood, but what's really the obstacle is not your ability to be clearly understood, but the fear. The feeling of fear, the feeling of hesitancy and insecurity around the way you sound, that's actually the energy that's coming across. So if you have a really thick accent, and everybody has an accent, I have an accent, everybody has an accent. But if you have a feeling that it's not good enough, then you lose the deliciousness of speaking. You lose that connection because what the audience is feeling is that fear, right? So the fear is what is being shared, and the hesitancy and the insecurity. So on video, we just want to get rid of that because it's fun to see people who are just having fun and they're being themselves. So imagine that, just hitting record and being yourself. How cool is that? That's exactly what I'm teaching all the time. So accent or no accent, it's how you think about it. So if you're someone who English is a second language, when you're experimenting on video, do one in your native tongue and see the difference. Just do it. And then do another one saying the same thing, and I have other tools that I'll be teaching on my live training, how to make this even more specific. But then just try to do it speaking English or whatever language you want to be sharing your video in, and see the difference. Can you physically see where you're getting a little intimidated, where you're maybe kind of coming in a little bit, where you're feeling a little less secure? How does that show up in your body? How does it show up in your voice? This is amazing. So we want to just work on the mindset of how you feel about yourself as a communicator when you're speaking a second language, when you're speaking English. That's usually the questions that I get, or when people are speaking English. This is huge. So you can really free yourself up to be much more positive, much more supportive. And myself, I speak Spanish pretty well. I think it's something more like everything's in present tense. It's very basic. But when I do it from the heart and I'm trying and I'm speaking, I know that it is being received in the same energy of which it's being delivered, with just appreciation, with just connection, that desire to connect. So we wanna stay in that headspace. Now the other thing, say something in Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. Yo tengo una pregunta para usted. Now I don't know what question I want to ask. Anyway, but that's my Spanish. But really, I can speak pretty much in present tense. I'm glad you enjoyed that. But it's funny, when I do speak Spanish, people are like, what? But anyway, high school Spanish still works. But I want to talk also about being understood, because this is the second part that I get with people who have accents. They're always concerned that they can't be understood. But we have to make sense that we have to really step back and say, what part of it can't you be understood? What is the block? Is it because you're speaking really, really fast? And you're so excited that you can't believe it? Like, I just had this crazy thing that happened to me yesterday, and it was so amazing. Well, slow down, sister, because it actually takes a minute for people to register what you're saying. So sometimes, it may be in your native tongue, speaking really quickly can happen like that. But when you are speaking on camera, your audience needs like a second to have those wonderful, delicious sound vibrations to sort of register. They need to take it in. And I get excited when I'm speaking, and sometimes I don't take necessary pauses to allow my point to land. I just keep going. That's my habit. Good or bad, that's my habit. So sometimes I need to very consciously slow down. Now, yes, I think that always asking for feedback and improving is great, Danilo. It's true. And you can be a compassionate observer of your own videos. Just say, or ask friends who are doing a video, what can I improve upon? There was one gentleman who I gave him a note when I looked at his video that when he was speaking, he had his chin up. He just was speaking like this. And I'll tell you the truth, that unconsciously when we see somebody speaking with their chin up, we feel like they're a little bit arrogant, that they don't have time for us, that, I could be here making a video or I could not. It's a little bit of a superiority complex. Was that what he was trying to do? No. But I said, turn it down. Get your head down. Let's really make contact with your eyes. Let's show your audience that generosity. It's the slightest adjustment, right? It goes from here, to here versus here when you're a little bit shy. And that's why we think body language when you're shy, when you're being like a little bit coy. And this is a little bit cagey. But again, when we open it up and we get to see those beautiful eyes of yours, cool. That's great. Very subtle. So when you're filming, make sure you see part of your body language because that sends a message. But let's go back to the voice. Being understood could be speaking very rapidly. It could also be articulation. Now, here's where we're going to pull out a few of our accents. Has anybody ever read Pygmalion or seen the movie? It's by George Bernard Shaw. Or have you seen the film My Fair Lady? My Fair Lady? Well, My Fair Lady is the transformation of Eliza Doolittle. And she lived basically on the streets. And the idea was to transform her from a street urchin to a lovely lady. And the phrase that they used to teach her this is a very old-fashioned movie, so if you haven't seen it, I'm not surprised. But they used one sentence over and over again. I forget his name. Oh, he's so magnificent in this film. But basically, the gentleman who trains her, and I'm embarrassed I can't remember the name of him. I can't believe I can't remember. Anyway, but he has one phrase where he's teaching her to say, the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. This is the sort of phrase that they repeat over and over again. And Eliza Doolittle in the beginning says, the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. And that is sort of the joke of the film. But then gradually, she changes her articulation until she speaks like this. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Now I'll try to include a link to maybe they have this scene on YouTube. I'm sure they do, but it's brilliant. So going back to Downton Abbey. Now the biggest difference between the classes in Downton Abbey is this idea of articulation. In sort of the upper classes, the banter around the dinner table was all very sharp and short and very, very proper. And they would speak and they would have a great deal of articulation. That was part of the way it was back then. Now, I don't know if exactly it's the same way in merry old England and other cultures around the world, but typically it's a very clipped, very short, very highly articulated language. In other languages, it's very similar. But when you go down the classes, it's a little more open. It's a little more flexible. There's a little more space in the mouth. It's a little bit broader. And it's not bad. It's not bad or good. It's just different. But if the way you're speaking is blocking the audience's ability to hear you, you may want to adjust it. Now, I'm being ridiculously broad here. Totally get that. But I think articulation is a huge, huge issue. Now, not so much to talk about status, because that is not as interesting to me. It has to do with ability of the ear to be able to hear you. And so I want to talk about a book that I use to actually strengthen this muscle. This is the fabulous Fox in Socks by Dr. Seuss. I did a whole video about it. I will include a link. Now, Fox in Socks is a whole book of tongue twisters. So I'm going to read a teeny tiny passage. It says, "Now we come to ticks and tocks, sir. Try to say this, Mr. Knox, sir. Clocks on fox tick, clocks on knocks talk. 6, 6, bricks tick, 6, 6, chicks talk." Now, there is a crazy amount of tongue twistery language in here. And the reason why I am suggesting that you get a book like this, or this book, and I'll include a link, is because you will get a complete mouth workout. But if you don't want to get this book or a book of tongue twisters, if you were to just read aloud the newspaper, anything, just aloud with a real emphasis on working out your mouth, you will naturally become a clearer speaker. You will just be able to make a clear sound. We're producing sound here. So whatever your native tongue is, it doesn't matter. Just get reading out loud, because even though it's very common in today's American television shows, for example, where everyone just mumbles, it's also real. It's just keeping it real. And so people will say something and, they'll be, talking about some crime scene and it's all very mumbly and real. But guess what? I can't understand what they're saying. Makes me crazy. Now, maybe it's my theatrical training, but at the end of the day, if you cannot be understood, you're cutting people out. So today I really want to encourage people just to get chatting. Just work out your mouth, get those articulators fired up, and see what happens. Maybe you can record yourself one time reading a passage, just pick a paragraph from a book, just read it. And then do those exercises, read out loud for 3 minutes a day for a week, just a week, and then read that paragraph again. Just see what happens. Are you a clearer speaker? Are you more clear? That's it. I would say those two things are really something that you can play around with. So for anybody viewing right now, do you have any questions about this? Does this make sense? Is there anything that you want me to sort of elaborate on? It will feel a little bit awkward at first. It will seem different, but you definitely want to work on those articulators just so that you can be understood just a little bit better. It makes a huge, huge, huge difference. So if you are ready to learn just a little bit more about getting confident, about saying, look, I can put myself on video. I can do this. I can start to explore, even if I don't have a business just yet, even if I don't know what online course I may create, I am going to get myself ready, a little bit comfortable, so that when the time comes, I can dive in and go. If you're ready for that training, do join me live next week, Wednesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. here in California, Pacific Standard Time. No, that's not true. 10 a.m. on Wednesday the 3rd. And then on Friday, it's at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. AlexaFisher.com, rock your video. And it's 1 hour in-depth training. I'll be answering in-depth questions as well. And I hope you can join me, so sign up, because I'd love to work with you. Have a fabulous, fabulous Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Be amazing. Have positive thoughts. Help people when you see them, because your energy matters. Every tiny little thing you do, when you triumph from a negative thought to a positive thought, it is literally a score for the universe. So stay positive, stay calm, share your light, because every effort matters. All right, people. Thank you for joining me live, and I look forward to staying in touch. Danilo, ciao. Ciao, va bene. All right. Ciao, my friends.